Welcome back to Anne History. Today, we dive deep into the ultimate struggle for power in the battle for Rome's soul. Julius Caesar, once hailed as Rome's savior, now faces enemies from every side, former allies turned rivals, and a Senate bent on restoring the Republic. As Caesar's ambition grows, so does the resistance against him. Civil war rages, alliances fracture, and Rome stands on the brink of collapse. Who will emerge victorious in this battle for the soul of Rome?
Are you ready?
Julius Caesar was no stranger to controversy. His rise to power was marked by battles not only on the field, but within the heart of Rome itself. His ambition, his reforms, and his refusal to bow to tradition earned him enemies. But it was not just the Senate that conspired against him. Caesar faced challenges from every side: external forces, internal betrayal, and his own insatiable drive for control. One of Caesar's greatest challenges came from his former ally and mentor, Pompey the Great. Once a part of the First Triumvirate, Pompey and Caesar's relationship deteriorated as they each sought more power. Pompey, once Caesar's superior in both military and politics, could not stand by as Caesar's star rose higher. Pompey: Caesar has crossed too many lines. Rome was never meant to be ruled by one man. The conflict between Caesar and Pompey was not just political, it was personal. Both men, driven by ambition and pride, could not coexist in a republic meant to be ruled by many. The Senate, fearful of Caesar's growing influence, threw its support behind Pompey. What followed was one of the bloodiest civil wars in Roman history. In 48 BCE, Caesar defeated Pompey at the Battle of Pharsalus, securing his control over Rome. But this victory came at a high cost. Rome was now divided, and the Republic, once held together by fragile alliances, was fractured beyond repair. After his victory over Pompey, Caesar was declared dictator for life. His control over Rome was absolute, but with that power came controversy. Caesar's reforms, though aimed at improving the lives of the people, were seen by many as a threat to the traditional Roman way of life. Caesar's reforms were ambitious. He sought to strengthen the empire, improve the economy, and bridge the gap between the elite and the common people. But in doing so, he angered the Senate, whose power he diminished with every decree. His refusal to consult them on major decisions, his disregard for the traditions of the Republic, and his growing personal power all sowed the seeds of rebellion. The greatest controversy of Caesar's life was his apparent desire to be crowned king. Rome, a republic founded on the rejection of monarchy, could not tolerate the idea of one man holding absolute power. Yet Caesar, with his crown of laurels and his title of dictator for life, seemed to inch ever closer to the throne. Caesar's refusal to take the crown did little to quell the fears of the Senate. To them, it was clear Caesar was no longer content with the title of dictator. He sought to become a king in all but name. This was a direct threat to the ideals of the Republic, and it was a challenge they could not ignore. The Senate had once been the center of Roman power, but under Caesar, it had become little more than a ceremonial body. Many senators, including Caesar's close friend Brutus, began to see his rise to absolute power as a direct threat to the Republic. And so, in the shadows of Rome, a conspiracy began to form. Cassius: Caesar must be stopped. If we do not act, the Republic will die, and Rome will become his kingdom. The conspiracy to assassinate Caesar was not born of malice alone. It was driven by fear. Fear of losing the Republic, fear of Caesar's growing power, and fear of what Rome would become under the rule of one man. For all his power, Caesar was not immune to betrayal. His closest allies were now his greatest enemies. Brutus, the man he trusted above all others, was at the center of the plot to kill him. Caesar's greatest challenge was not on the battlefield, but in the very heart of Rome. Caesar, I have always trusted you, Brutus. In these uncertain times, that trust is what Rome needs. The challenges Caesar faced were not only from his enemies, but from within. The betrayal that was about to unfold would not only end his life, but it would also mark the end of the Roman Republic. The Ides of March were coming, and with them, the final chapter of Caesar's life. Julius Caesar had faced many challenges in his life, on the battlefield, in the Senate, and within his own heart. But the greatest challenge was yet to come. The Ides of March would be his final test, and in that moment, history would be changed forever. Thank you for watching And History, but Caesar's trials are far from over. In the next episode, Julius Caesar, the empire that never sleeps, we witness the aftermath of Caesar's rise to power and the echoes of his influence that shaped the empire. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. The war for Rome may be over, but the battle for its future has just begun.